Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus once again, and I want to thank you so very much for stopping on this post. You know, truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, as I think about it and I think about this mission that I've been on for quite some time, sometimes it makes me laugh because it appears as though for a moment there America and Americans might just totally be out of their minds. Because it seems as if people are just constantly trying to play us every way but loose. And for some strange reason, it seems that ever so often some of us get caught. And we just swing. We think about the times of the Tea Party as far as our politics are concerned. When they came on the scene, they interrupted something. They brought a new idea on the scene and they advocated it to the public. And the public kind of bought into it. And it had some effect on the way our governmental system was expressed. And it caused a lot of pain to some people. Well, then it was satisfactory to others. So we always see we got here again something working, something not working. We have something going to the haves and something going to the have-nots. Well, you see, what I perceive in my vision of life is that people need access to stuff. They need access to not only, my friends, they not only resources, natural resources, they need them without doubt. But they need access to information. And when I'm talking about information, I'm not just talking about gossip. I'm talking about knowledge. I'm talking about intelligence. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that makes a world. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I think about all of the things that's going on in the world, and I think about everybody looking at the past administration, Donald Trump, and they're all against it. People are thinking that they are, and I've heard some strange things, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you have too, especially since Trump been gone. So I won't acquaint those things at this moment in time. But I want you to know that these things that we're looking at and dealing with every day are not good enough. When we think about what the Democrats are talking about, they're giving us some good stuff. Some of it is not new at all. You know, we've heard it a zillion times before. But the truth of the matter is that they are things that people need. And the Democrats might be serious and are going to give it their best shot to achieve as much as they possibly can. But at the same time, you got those same guys in Congress as representatives of the people of the United States of America that's in there to play a major role in whether something goes through or whether something does not go through. And these are the same people that were willing to overthrow the United States government, to disregard its constitution, was willing almost to just take an election from the people and give it to someone else over fear, partly, and others just because of pure ignorance. And those people are still there. And yes, they're there negotiating with the Democrats about what the future is going to hold for you and I. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now, I don't know what kind of mind you got. I don't know what kind of spirit you got that makes you sit back and say, well, I'm going to trust that. I don't know what you got. But if you got that, you definitely don't have what I have, because the things that I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. That is not going to happen. There is no way that that is going to happen. Now, let me tell you why. Because I recognize, and I'm sure you do as well, and if you don't, I would love to encourage you to seek out, that there is no man on the face of the earth that's more of a man than you are. There is no man anywhere. Now, there are systems and education and an environment that has established what you have accepted as reality. But it's not true. There is no man above you or below you. There's only one power, and that power is truly invisible. It is responsible for the earth, the seas, the mountain, the waters, all the things, you and I. Our ability to do things, to have a desire, to want to know, all of that is part of the process. And what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, what is that all about? It's about life. It's about being here in these bodies and experiencing life. But now, Everything is given. Even the knowledge is here for us to make this a paradise. Now, I admit we've been taught all the ways against it. And we definitely can't say we can rely on the church, because those things that we said about Trump and how evil they represented, well, most of the right-wing, as far I don't know of any that weren't, right-wing evangelical and fundamentalist Christians were right there praising this evil man, talking about he was from God, giving them what they wanted. What did they want? They wanted judges. They wanted positions of power because they have no respect for God. They don't even know anything about God because they were taught by the guys that were up there with Trump. And my people, when I say my people, I'm talking about poor people, we were taught about submissiveness. Nobody told us that God was a spirit or power that we could allow to live within us as individuals, and God that we see be made manifest through our hands and our deeds, through the things that we do. And we represent God, which is love for every human being on the face of the earth. That means having the same respect for anybody and everybody as you have for yourself, and requires, not necessarily because it's a natural, have for you. And that means that the resources that are of the earth, they are recognized to continue to do the things that they do. And each of you now, more than before, because now you don't have to worry about some employer. You came on this earth with a gift, and that was to serve humanity. And with that gift, give you your greatest joy. And you use and exercise your gift in the creative process that makes every human being on the face of the earth part owner in all of the things that's created by the hands of man, that rest in the reservoir of goods and services that are there to any and every human being on the face of the earth whenever they need it, whenever they want it, or whenever they desire it. And they will never be without food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, any of these things, transportation, infrastructure, anything that they can imagine, because they, my friends, have awakened to the fact that they have a gift to give, and they only have to get joy out of what they do because there are others that does everything else that needs to be done, and they're serving it just as diligently as you. And as a result, you're having flying cars and cars on the boats that's floating on the waters. You have in the places where there's a lot of snow and people like to do a lot of travel, you have sensors on the highways to make sure the snow melts. You'll have public transportation that, oh man, you know, those trains and things that float off above the tracks. All of these things, ladies and gentlemen, because you tried something different. And when I say it's representative of God, it's positive and it's extended and can be seen to every individual on the face of the earth. And it's an expression of love. And now, we don't, in one individual, have what it's all about, but we learn from one another. What I represent is my understanding of love to you, that I'm willing and to advocate for, that we engage ourselves in and create. But it's just mine. There are others out there that is a more expressive of love. And when it is seen, when it's known, then I will be drawn to it and learn from it. And that's what we all do. We're drawn to more love. More love. The Smokey Robinson called it more love and more joy. Well, that's what we're doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this time. But I want you to know another thing. There was once, listen to this, there was once a family. And it was about mother, father, about 5 girls, I believe, and about 4 boys. And they lived a wonderful life, wonderful people. They loved each other. They were drawn to each other. I mean, they were really, really close. They respected each other. Well, time passed and people got old, especially the parents got old, and obviously the children were educated and they were all over the country. Except maybe 2 were in the same town that their parents were. But they were working, they were teachers, and they were diligent in what they do. Now, the parents got to a point in time when they needed constant care. And these parents obviously like anybody, they want to be around their loved ones, and the children, they want to be around the loved ones. They don't want you out there in this other stuff, so they try to keep you around so they can show you how much they love you. And they get struggle between the jobs, and then some of the kids that's out of state, they try to fit in on a schedule to come back and forth to help, and it's a big mess. It's just truly a big mess. It doesn't make any sense like that whatsoever. Somebody say, well, what can we do? There are so many other things that you have done. Yes, you have come up with things called old folks homes. You've had places where the aging can go for health care, and it's all available to them as an expression of what you understand. But what I understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that just transfers one problem to another situation, and it perhaps for some in some ways can be better than maybe what it was. But why not make it the best that it can be? Why not make it possible so that when someone like that needs health care, whether they're old or not, but whether they're ambulant or not, but they need someone to be there with them, and they want someone close, and then someone close want to be there, then they should be there. And so that means that based upon the system that we reflect, that shows God's love, or the love that we have being expressed through us, is that the system that we have established would permit that to happen automatic. Why? Because none of us suffer for anything. That doesn't, look, this is freedom, ladies and gentlemen. This is pure D freedom. This is freedom you've been wanting all your life. What is freedom? Freedom is the ability to do what you want to do. But you've learned that in order to do that, you got to respect everybody else. And now you can have your man cave. You can go somewhere and sit and drink a beer. You can go somewhere and spit and smoke a joint if you want to. You ain't got to worry about anybody being offended at your house or in the streets, anywhere. You ain't got to, if you don't want people seeing you, just take your time and chill out in your man cave and live. And this is what I'm talking to you about, ladies and gentlemen. Freedom. You don't know more of this where you have a marriage, or where people are falling apart and one feel obligated to stay because it seems if they don't stay together in this hellish situation, they can't survive. No, everybody on earth be able to survive, because we the people have made a decision that we're going to make sure that every human being on the face of the earth, because we are human beings and we're wise enough and smart enough to be better than dogs and cats and animals who seem somewhat to be better than us. And we're going to protect one another, look out for one another. We're going to let the spirit of our understanding of God live in us. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, I've given you some sweet stuff. Check out the rest of my videos, and you will understand where I'm trying to come from. You will understand. And you will also know that this stuff can happen. It's a divine plan. Until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye, all right?